This summer, the Minnesota Timberwolves shocked the world.
Why would the Jazz do that?
Brian Windhorst, he knew something was afoot. It might have been his biggest moment of all time. So shout out to Brian. The Rudy Gobert trade, okay? We all know what it was. 5 first-round picks, multiple key players in your team's rotation that were necessary, integral to the playoff run, and pretty much starting a new chapter. You wanted to build on this, but you had to tear down to rebuild, and that was the vision of Tim Connolly. These knuckleheads. I can't believe, still to this day, every time I'm watching this team, like, I can't believe that it exists the way it does. I can't believe somebody would say, you know what we need? You know what we need? To move our center to the power forward so we can have another center. And this has been highly documented on my channel, my thoughts on this trade. Not even the point. Guys, let me walk you through the last 3 Minnesota Timberwolves basketball games. The first of which, the Timberwolves fall to 10-10 after allowing 137 points to the defending champs Warriors on their home court. The Warriors, although they are the Warriors, have been stinking it up on the road this season. It was absolutely embarrassing. This is the result, it appears, of trading for a perennial all-defensive player. Let's fast forward to next game. You visit Washington, extremely middling team. Both teams were 10-10 going in, and the Timberwolves give up an astounding, resounding 142 points, including Kristaps Porzingis, who had nearly 30 points in the first half of this game, all over your defensive player of the year's head. Karl-Anthony Towns gets hurt during this game. I wish the guy a speedy recovery, but at this point, I think we know something needs to be done. Last night, the Timberwolves put on their best defensive showcase of the season and held the Grizzlies. They scored 101 points. They scored a ton of points in that last minute that didn't matter. It was really like 92 points. They held the Grizzlies 42% from the field, 34% from 3. They turned them over 24 times. A defensive masterclass by a team with a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year at its helm. The Timberwolves, they look as fluid as they have all year, even despite having a guy named Wendell Moore Jr. in the starting lineup, playing 20 minutes. Austin Rivers is a heavy rotation player. Clearly your guard depth, wing depth is not where it could be. And guess what? You beat the Grizzlies without an all-star caliber player on your team. Yeah, they were missing Desmond Bane. The point is defense, though. You need to trade Karl-Anthony Towns. Do it now. Do it tonight. Do it this second. Listen, Minnesota fans, I don't know exactly what your relationship is with this man at this point. Surely he has been a great player for you guys. Despite a lot of lost seasons, he has been the guy that has remained throughout years of turbulence, turmoil, and turds. Because you did end up with #1 picks for a reason, and Andrew Wiggins, we found out he was not that guy for this team. Maybe it was their fault. I'm sure they have some blame for how that all turned out. And not just him, because we know they've had some other situations that they may have squandered. But Karl-Anthony Towns, there's definitely a bond here between him and the organization, and it's going to be hard to let go. But if you have enough balls to trade 5 first-round picks plus key rotation players for a guy that makes no sense with your current team, we want to run 2 centers that are slow, can't guard 3-point shooters. We've seen them get torched over and over and over again. Then you should be able to do the next thing that you need to do. It will be extremely difficult to pull the plug here, but somebody wants Karl-Anthony Towns. There's a lot of teams that would love a stretch big. How about the Toronto Raptors? They could use a guy like this. Not only a guy that can space the floor and hit threes at a consistent clip, a better clip than pretty much any center ever to play the game, but also just a big guy. A lot of teams don't have that center position filled out. How about the New York Knicks for some more shooting in that 5 position? I mean, you cannot tell me that a stretch big, the best at his craft in the league, doesn't have a ton of trade value right now. You could totally get a nice package back, a package of players, a wing and a guard, fill out your rotation and call it a day, and your team is in a much better spot to contend, which is the whole point of this thing. The only reason you traded your entire future away for Rudy Gobert was to do what? Win a championship. And so, this is the next logical move. It makes too much sense to me. Once this becomes a trend with the Wolves where their defense is so much better now without Cat, people are going to start drawing these trades up. They might have already. I haven't really been paying attention. But the trade market for Cat has got to heat up. Calls have got to start getting made soon. Get this dude out of town. Get these two guys off the same team, please. For the sake of your team, you can save your squad. And for anybody who might think that Cat's trade value is in the toilet, I don't see why it needs to be. He hasn't been playing his position all year. Him being a disappointment this season is more of a product of this system, this new dumb team that the Timberwolves are running than anything. Maybe you can trade him later this season, but why would you do that? You need to build the team. This is not it. This is not gonna work. It's gonna be tough to let go. This is the right play. This is a star player. He is an all-star caliber player. He is an extremely healthy, almost an Iron Man player. This injury, it's not a trend. It's not something that happens often. This is a guy that stays on the court. He's generally always available. Amazing three-point shooter. He's a great passer for a big man. And when he's in at center, he's physical, he is an incredible rebounder, and he needs to be used in a certain way. His talents need to be utilized, and I know there are some teams. The Toronto Raptors makes actually too much sense to me. Someone's gonna make a call. And these guys, they are making a mistake. They are making a mistake if they don't pull the trigger. They have to do it. They have to do it. I've never been so sure of anything in my life. Guys, please, can we have some sense in the comments? You guys, you have to agree with me. Karl-Anthony Towns needs to be traded. Get him out of town. Ship him off. Get him wherever. Get some good stuff in return. You can do it. You can get some great value. You can get some guys to fill out that 2 and 3 position. Add some shooting. Add some defense. Call it a day. You can build this team. This can work. Give your guys the space they need. OG Anunoby. Gary Trent. Call it a day. This is going to do it. Bucketology. Oh my God, Timberwolves. Pull the trigger. Do it. Bye.